Welcome, welcome. Well, today, guys, I'm going to share a story about something that made the news in St. Anne and they even did a cartoon about it and put it in the Observer. And, one time we used to have red pole cattle, and after that, we decided we wanted to have dairy cattle. So I had this one particular bullkin that I'd kept from the red pole herd, and all he didn't even have a brand. He had like a tag in his ear, and the number in the tag was 500. So everybody on the farm used to just call this bull 500. And I love this bull, really did. I always used to ask, how is 500 doing? And he was like my pet. Then we had this other bull that we had bought from a farmer named Mr. Jumai in Cherry Gardens in Clarendon. And he was a Holstein bull, a really tall animal, and he had this huge head, so everybody gave him name Big Head. So it was Big Head and 500. So at the time we had a guy on the farm he was a really strong, very big guy, and he used to help with like roping the bulls, and so when we were branding them, he was really strong. And of course his name, they used to give him name Strength. And I didn't even know the guy's real name. All I knew him as was Strength. And then there was another guy, a little fellow, who used to work, and they were like a team, the two of them. And this guy's name was Rat. So it's Strength and Rat. So anyway, one night, I guess in the wee hours of the morning, really, Strength and Rat decided they're going to round up my two bulls and they're going to drive them on the main road to Claremont, because when my mother had the beef cattle, we used to sell all the time. From the time she and my father ran the farm, they used to sell only to this man, this butcher guy named Natty Gray. And at this time, by now, Natty Gray was kind of getting up in age and he was ailing. So we started to sell to two different local butchers. So it looked like Strength and Rat, I think Strength was the instigator, line up his butcher friend and decide they're going to run up my two bulls now and drive them on the main road, in the wee hours of the morning to the butcher to sell it. So, well, what they never counted on was that the next butcher in town heard about the whole thing, and him vex say him never get the bulls, so him boss it now and tell the police. So before the bulls could even reach the butcher place to get slaughtered, the police round up everything, lock up the two guys in the jailhouse in Claremont, and tie up my two bulls now in the yard of the police station in town, right? So when morning time come, I get the call from the police. I say that I must come and I must identify the bulls if them have any identifying marking on them. And I say, yes, I know exactly. And I told them. And so I had to go now and, identify the bulls so that they would give them back to me. And when I go now, the little jailhouse door, which is just like a, I don't know, they could see right through it. Inside there is Strength and Rat looking out at me, come to get the bulls, and telling me, that they're sorry, and if, just let them get off and everything. And I thought to myself, maybe if him get a little consequence for this, he won't do it again. And it was hard for me because I'm super compassionate in situations like this and kind of soft. So, it was a hard decision for me to take, and I took it. So anyway, the next thing that had to happen is I had to go to court for the trial. And this was the thing that hit the news, like the trial and the whole story. And they had a cartoon of them chasing the two cow on the road, and it was in the Observer. So anyway, went to court, and sure enough, they locked up, I don't know about Rat, but they locked up Strength for a while. And yeah, as I say, it was a tough one because he was like mouthing the words sorry to me, as he was walking past. And I had like family members and support, even some of the workers at the farm saying, Miss Mel, just make him get a little lockup for this because he won't stop. So anyway, about a year later, he came back out again, right? And we heard that Strength was in the village, and we heard he was breaking into, very shortly after that, into people's homes and taking their personal effects and so on. And it was like a problem in the area, in the village. Anyway, so that went on for a while. And then one day, I'm just doing my little business, and I get a text from one of the people who work on the farm. And it was not an easy text to look at, because it was a picture of a man who had been like mobbed and chopped up with cutlass and machete, and it wasn't a pretty picture, okay? And when I heard the shout, it's Strength. And Strength had gone and tried to steal, or had stolen, I think he stole somebody in the area, somebody in the district's bull, and had slaughtered it. And they caught him and they chopped him to death. And that was the end of Strength. And I'm going to tell you something, it's not an uncommon thing for a cow thief or an animal, some sort of like goat thief or whatever, to meet their end like this in Jamaica, because people they don't condone this. They don't love it, because people work really hard and they get their animal, and then just somebody come along and thief it, and they get real angry. So it was hard. I mean, the moral of the story is thief shall never prosper, but boy, that's a tough ending, and I wouldn't really wish that on anybody. Like, even when as I say, it was hard for me to even see Strength get the lockup for the year, but for him to end his life, for that to happen to him, that was not my wish and would never ever be. But I'm just telling you the story because that's what happened, and it happens. So if you've ever had that happen to you, like know anybody rather that has happened to, or if you have any stories to tell of, you know, animal thieving and all of that kind of stuff, like share it in the comments. But it is one of those things that happens. Unfortunately, it really is. I mean, I thought that if he got locked up, he would have learned the lesson, and sadly, I was wrong. And he met his demise in a really horrible way. So not the best, but anyway, it is a story. So uh, I hope you enjoyed that story. It's kind of hard to enjoy something like that, but at least, we know we have to keep it real. It's what happened, okay? So please comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you soon.